Alright. Okay, so guys. And boy do I mean guys, cause today we're gonna be talking about fucking girls. Girls. The number one commodity that me personally, has been deprived of. That me, I just straight up just haven't had any of from day fucking one. From the day I was born, from the day I was after the day I was shit into this fucking shithole that we call Earth, I haven't had one, not even one. I'm not even lying to you guys here. I'm not even trying to brag or anything. Well, how is this bragging, right? Right, exactly. I mean, when you say something unflattering, right, you can't go around and say, that I'm bragging, right? Because, like, if anything, right, if anything, I'm dragging my name through the mud, right? I'm doing myself a disservice, but that's the whole point of this channel, right? Doing myself disservices to entertain you guys. Alright, so here, let's go. Alright, so yeah, I mean, obviously I've been deprived of them. I don't think that comes as a surprise. That's number one. Like me, I've never really been too much of, it might sound a little weird, me sounding the way that I sound to you guys right now, and me saying this at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really been too much of an outgoing person, and I really feel like, right, every single time I look into the eyes of a fucking girl, right, this bitch want me. This bitch want the D. No question about that. It's just that with girls, right? There's this other part that goes into the equation, right? Because for men, right, it don't matter. It just straight up doesn't fucking matter what kind of personality a girl has. Matter of fact, right? Matter of fact, we prefer girls with no personality. We prefer girls stupid. We prefer them stupid because that's the way it's always been. That's the way we feel comfortable with, and that's the way we conduct ourselves in front of them. But with them, right, it's just a whole nother story. Cause these bitches, right, these bitches, they need someone to look after them. They need someone to be constantly sticking their neck out for them. They need someone to be constantly bringing them up when you're down. You know, and because of that, right, because of that, it don't really matter how you look, because you gotta understand, right, the looks game is purely genetical. It's purely statistical. If you kind of understand what I'm trying to get here, it doesn't quite equate to, I'm talking about the looks game, right? I'm talking about your appearance. It doesn't quite equate to an opinion, because you think about it, right? Your facial structure represents percentages, much like in video games, right? In video games where you design a character, it is really all from a kind of algorithmic system, a kind of number system that equates to a facial structure. And because of that, right, we can kind of draw a little bit of a parallel here. We can draw a parallel that if in games, right, in simulations, in shit where, basically faces get, I wouldn't say made, right, the faces get modeled. If that game is numbers game, I don't see why in real life it would be any different, right? So, because of that, right, just based on that fact alone, and it is a fact, right? You can't even argue with me. You can't even argue. Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. Now you can't argue. No, that's not up for debate. That's not for argument. Looks is purely statistical, it's purely factual, it's purely objective. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And because of that, right, because of it being so cut and dry, it being so black and white, it being so customary every single time. I mean, me, motherfucker, I'm a fucking looker, right? I am a fucking straight up just stunt. Okay, no, that's going a little too far, right? But no, I mean, like, I don't want to say that I look good or anything, cause I don't. Well, a little more than average, right? I feel like I'm a little more than average. But fact of the matter is, right? Fact of the matter is, I don't care. Okay, let's talk about someone else, cause me, me is a little bit of a touchy topic, or me is like, I don't want to really talk about me so much. But let's talk about an average person that ranks on the Richter look scale, if you can even call it that. It's up to you, as a 8, right? As a 8, but has an introverted kind of personality, and ranks at a 3 because of that personality, because he's so inward, because he's so reserved, because he's so shy, right? That drags the score down to a 3. And because he's a 3, not an 8, we can safely say that, for guys, right? For guys, we kind of gotta up the ante a little bit. We every single fucking encounter we have with this second race, with this second species or whatever you want to call them, because it is, right, it is a little bit of an alien kind of race, like we don't understand the inner workings of them, at least not yet, right? At least I'm trying to do my best here to explain it to you guys, because it is right, a really complicated topic, and it's something that, in my off time, right, I think a little bit about it, right? Think a little bit of how the game work, right? How, it's not exactly the same thing, right? I know that guys have testosterone, girls have estrogen, yes, but they're not exactly equivalent, right? There's a bit of gray area, there's a bit of unexplained shit that's just so fucking cryptic that we need to go in there, we need to probe a little bit, and we need to kind of decipher the kind of shit that go on in there. And yeah, man, I mean, from what I've discovered from thinking, and we are talking about thinking about it, I haven't actually tested. Although, right, that is something that I do intend to change, in the coming months. Is I do intend to put out a little bit, right? The guy version of put out, which is obviously offer myself to the world. Be like, hey yo, open my fucking fly, open my fucking shirt. By open I mean like, rip down the middle open, like, bitch, come at me, motherfucker, cause this is the only motherfucking shit you gon' get. You know what I'm saying? This is the only motherfucking shit that is gonna be provided to you, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you'd rather stay dry, whether or not you'd rather stay sober, whether or not you'd rather hold up your celibacy, hold up your lack of fucking with a guy, right? Or you would actually tap it, right? You would actually come here and get some, cause there ain't nothing in the middle, right? When you offer yourself to a girl, see, it's like a fucking ritual, right? It's either gonna work or it isn't gonna work. That is because, right, we have it down to a very strict sense. We have it down to a motherfucking science, nigga. Right? We have it down to a fucking T. We have it down to exactly where we want it to be at this stage. At this stage being the preliminary kind of stage, being the preparation stage, in that, we have to come up with a plan and we have to execute it. And, right now I feel like talking to you guys here, right, I know it might sound a little bit crazy here, but I feel like I know exactly what's up with these guys. Or girls, however you want to call them. I feel like it is very much to do, not even one bit, with your personality. If you think about it, right? If you think about it, when a guy look at a girl, a guy usually like that girl. Like, I know it might sound a little odd, alright? It might sound a little offbeat, might sound a little bit eccentric for me to say this, but yeah, man, I mean, I do feel like the percentage of girls that a guy likes is pretty high, right? I would say it's like 80%. And I'm talking about, within your age range, right? If you're talking about a fucking old ass fucking hag, get out here with that shit, because we ain't playing no hardball with no one. We ain't throwing nobody no curveballs, right? We are playing an honest, upfront game, and because of that, we're going to be talking about within your age group. We are going to be talking about noobles. We're going to be talking about virils. We are going to be talking about, people who you see fit. And so because of that, right, we are going to be talking about only, I guess, teenager to a young adult, right? That's our range. And, if you're talking about the percentage of girls that you dig at that kind of age, right, in that age range, I'm actually thinking pretty high, right? Because going around, like, I don't actually get turned off too much, right? Walking around, seeing all these specimens, seeing all these faces, seeing all these structures. I don't feel like most of them would be bad fits in terms of looks, in terms of solely looks, because there's more to the game than just looks. I do realize that, right? And I do uphold that. I do support that wholeheartedly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not one to objectify anyone here, but when we are talking about science, there's a little bit of objectifying that goes on inherently, so we can't avoid it. So fuck it, man. Just fuck off with all of your fucking prissy shit, because we ain't doing none of that shit. We ain't dealing with none of that shit, okay? So we are dealing with, however, a very very high percentage. We're gonna call it 80%. 80% of the girls you see out there, you dig, right? You dig 80% of the girls you see out there. Because of that, right? Because of that, 80% of the guys girls see, they probably dig, right? But because it's a different game, we kind of have to triangulate. We have to try to sniff out the point where it kind of differs a little bit. Because we are talking about guys and girls, right? We aren't talking about guys and homos, or we aren't talking about, the same kind of person at heart. We aren't talking about the same gender here. We are talking about two genders that were designed to operate differently by whoever made them. The maker. Let's call him or her that, right? And because of that, right? Because of the difference here, I feel like that we have to. Wait, hold on. I got a little something. Man, I'm feeling a little queasy from all this loud talking, but we'll finish this. We'll finish this before we go. So, as I was saying, right, the difference is there, right? We can't deny that there's a difference. We can't try to marginalize the difference. We can't make light of the difference, right? What we can, however, do is try to understand why the difference is the case. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as much as I have. I just came off of watching all the motherfucking seasons, and it feels like Will Smith, right, who is the star in the show. If you don't know exactly what the deal is with it, he hits on pretty much every single fucking girl, right? He pretty much hits on girls, even if in real life he doesn't like it. And right, it's actually not too far off reality, right? It's actually pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much my percentage at work, right? It is pretty much, a numbers game, and the numbers game not favoring us, right? We gotta accept that, right? We gotta accept that, like I said earlier, that numbers don't favor us. But what we can do is try to understand why the numbers don't favor us. Why is it that we have a harder time than them? Like, we make more moves than them, right? I don't think that we can, as a gender, right, as a sex, I don't feel that we can deny that we are more active, we are more proactive, we go out there and we tear shit up, right? We just wreck the whole fucking scene, right? You ain't even gonna be fucking recognizing none of that shit when we done with you. You can't recognize it. So, I feel like it does at the end of the day, don't care how much discussing you do, fuck it, don't matter. It does at the end of the day come down to the fact that there is a whole nother science to it, right? There's the science of looks, and there's the signs of, we're talking about guys right here. What do girls see in guys? There's looks, and then there's personality, how suave you are, how much panache you have, how much style you have, how much swagger you have in your stride, that kind of deal. It's complicated racket here, right? But I feel like if you have all those aforementioned things, if you have style, if you have swagger, if you have charm, right? I mean, charm is key to this whole equation here, right? I mean, at the end of the day, right, if you don't got that, I mean, you straight up just falter, right? You just fall to fucking pieces. You're just come to think of it, right, you're just me in another shell. You're just me as another person, because like, I couldn't say that before this point in time, right? This point in time being 2014, or I should say before June 2014, I don't feel like I quite understood the situation. I don't feel like I quite, because of me being so wet behind the ears, which is obviously, in case you don't know, being so new to the game, right? I feel like I just didn't understand that, it's not a parallel, right? Guys liking girls is not the same thing as girls liking guys, right? Like, it's very much the same reason. Right? It's very much the same reason why girls don't hire male prostitutes as much as the other way around. Because that business, right? That business of hookers, that is a huge fucking. I mean, that shit rates in fucking billions of illegal fucking dollars, and these motherfuckers can't even care that shit's illegal, cause it's just so vibrant as an economy. That shit right there, that shit's just. I mean, if there was stocks in that shit, right? Like investors, I don't care how fucking moral you are. I don't care how much of a moral compass you have. I don't care how much ethics you want to show. In fact, the matter is right. That shit right there would be the most bustling, the most flourishing, the most lucrative fucking business, bar none. Bar none, paralleled by fucking nothing. I mean, you know, like that is the kind of level that this shit is at, right? That is kind of the level where guys date girls just for their whole body, just for their whole unit, instead of the other part that goes into the equation, and that is personality. And that is obviously, you know, like a little off topic here. We'll get back on topic. That is something that, you know, I want to change. Number one, right? I mean, I might be talking about this in a very, very patronizing way, but you know, that is something that, you know, needs to be looked at in all seriousness. What is not, however, in all seriousness, is yeah, man. I mean, like, it doesn't quite matter how little of a person exists inside a girl. Fact of the matter is, we still hold all of these models in high regard, even though we don't even fucking know them, right? We don't even fucking hear a peep out of their fucking mouths. We don't even hear a word that these guys said, and yet we still exalt them to the level of fucking a goddess or a demigod or some shit that high, you know, like that model. Well, I don't want to single out anyone here, but you know, those models, right? Those absolute top-notch models. I mean, they get talked about pretty often, right? Number one, but also pretty favorably. Even though the motherfuckers that be talking about them shits don't know who it is inside, you know, and that is pretty fucked up. That is pretty fucked up. But I'm trying to use that as a way of convincing you guys of my point here, right? As a way of convincing you guys that, you know, it's not exactly the same thing, right? It's not exactly like for like, you know. Like me as a person, right? Me as a person, giving you my personal account of where I've standed, or where I've stood, I should say. Man, this fucking grammar thing, man. This fucking grammar thing. I mean, on this channel, right? You don't come here to learn English. You come here to learn the fucking facts of life. Bitch, don't even question me on my fucking grammar. Just don't. I mean, you can question me on my points that I've raised. Okay, that's a debate, right? That we can have. That's a debate I'll happily oblige. But grammar, if you're gonna be talking about my fucking grammar, get the fuck out of here, right? Because we're not putting up with none of that shit. Grammar gets thrown out the fucking window every single time I come on. Grammar goes off. Cause that grammar and me, man. Grammar and me, I swear to God, like it's fucking racial thing, man. I swear to Jesus fucking Christ, man. I mean, but anyway, right, getting back on topic, like me in the past, I mean, like I don't want to say that I look better than average, but you know, if I was to objectively say how I look, right, I would say it's more than average, right? And that isn't even me trying to showboat or anything. Like, I do pick myself apart very hard, right? I do shit on myself very often and very, very, well, to use the same word, hard, right? I shit myself hard. You know, don't ever deny that fact, right? Don't ever get that wrong, that I don't critique myself, right? That I don't judge myself, because I do, you know, do that, right? Because I want to be a better person at the end of the day, you know. I do that shit because I am not happy with the position I'm in, and that should be enough reassurance to you guys that, you know, I don't look that fuck it, man. It doesn't even matter how I look. Fact of the matter is, right, my whole fucking life, right, you know, I've always been a little bit of a bystander, you know. I've been out of the equation. I've been put out from day one, you know. I've never actually been in a situation where I had an equal shot, where I actually set myself up for success, where I actually, you know, approach one of these motherfuckers with my game face on. None of that shit. None of that shit. Straight up, none of that shit ever happened. And probably for a good reason, and that good reason is because I didn't have the fucking guns to back it up. You know, I didn't have the arsenal. I didn't have the style to do it. I didn't have the personality. I didn't have the charm. I didn't have the electrifying motherfucker. Yes, I didn't have the electrifying kind of vibe that you get, you know, when you're around some of these celebrities, you know, some of these figures in society that really made it, right? That really blew up. That really go to show that you really need this kind of shit. You really need a character if you want to make it as a male in any situation. I don't care if the only thing that means shit in your life is sex, right? At the end of the day, you still gotta have some kind of character to yourself, right? You still gotta have some kind of substance in you to pull you through, right? To make you see the light of day. I mean, don't care what you call this, don't care how sordid, right? Which is how immoral you cause this. I mean, you are still gonna need your personality, and if you are just as shallow as these girls, right? I don't want to say it, girls are shallow, right? Because I'm not, misogynistic or anything like that. Neither am I feministic, right? I'm neutral. I'm equal on this ground, but I do feel like girls, because they don't have to be pushing the boundaries in this sense, right? Because they don't have to be, and this is shit that we can debate for hours and hours, but that's how I feel, right? That's legitimately the vibe that I get, looking at these kind of relationships. I mean, like, it's usually the guy that does all of the talking, all of the pulling of the weight, which varies from situation to situation, right? But from case to case, but that's from what I've seen. Okay, from what I've seen, that's how it's been with. Man, my throat, man, it's just getting fucked up. So I should really close this cup quick. So yeah, I mean, going forward, right, my life and your guys' life too, knowing this knowledge, right, knowing that as a guy, it's not enough to have charm. Wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. It's not so much the looks, right? It's not so much being ripped. It's not so much having biceps. It's not so much having a fucking six pack. It's not so much having about fucking muscles. It's not so much about being swole. It's not about being a stud in its entirety. I know it counts for some part of the equation, right? Because appearance is, at the end of the day, chief, is the absolute utmost most important factor in deciding any kind of relationship, right? Which might vary from case to case, but I feel like for the most part that is the key, right? That is, I mean, after all, I don't think you argue with me on this. Is you look at a person, right? You don't see his or her personality, right? You see his or her face. I mean, when you remind yourself of someone, when you reminisce about someone, when you take a trip down memory lane for someone, right? Man, my throat. Okay, I really gotta end this soon. It's not their personality you see. It's not their voice that you hear, right? It is, at the end of the day, your face, which is another interesting discovery. That's something to think about. But me going forward, like, like the voice that you're hearing here on YouTube, the voice that you're hearing here on this channel hasn't been how it has always been. I've been more reserved. I've been a little less inclined to just go on, and that's my agenda right from this point on. Just my agenda for you guys if you are in a similar situation, stuck like me without any love, and yeah. I seriously gotta go, man. I seriously gotta go. But yeah, you guys take care, and yeah, see you next video. And this topic, man, this topic.